Hi, cities. How are you doing? Welcome to my channel. Hope you are great. Disclaimer: this video reflects my personal opinions and commentary. It is all intended to harass, harm, or defame any individual. Content is for discussions and educational purposes. So I am seeing video of a white man saying that black people know them more than they know themselves, and it's true. It's nothing new. Black people will predict you guys today, what will happen next year today when it comes to you. And the same way they say it is also the same way that it will happen. Some of them actually do not understand how expensive racism is, but everybody is finding out. How do I tell you guys that in 2026 that some of you guys do not want to leave racism alone? Why? Because it benefits you, or you guys think that that is the only way out. Sometimes I feel like this must actually be a disease or obsession. Because tell me how a full grown ass person we just want to be racist, because it's not making sense. And one thing is that the more they are being racist, the more they are losing a lot, because as much as they do not understand that a lot of things are going wrong, why they are trying to be something that is crazy, you know, just because you are a racist, you won't employ maybe someone that look like me that is qualified for a job, and then you watch things go bad. Let's get into this video.
You ever notice what happens when you flip a light switch on in a room that's been dark for 100 years? You don't have to shout. You just flip that switch, and then you watch them scurry. You see them, white folks scrambling like little cockroaches for the baseboards, desperate to get back into the shadows where the myth still feels like the truth. They don't run because the truth is complicated. No, they run because the truth is too bright. It forces you to look at the wreckage you've been calling heritage. They scurry because they know that if that light stays on, the delusion dies, and they aren't ready to live without it. This month marks exactly 11 years, my 11-year anniversary since I started flipping that switch in April 2015, recording the receipts of our own white rot. To the black community, I'm standing here today because of you. You haven't just given me support, you've given me genuine love. You gave me your patience, your wisdom, and your hard truths. I know that love didn't come for free. It came because when you spoke, I listened. You schooled me. And I'm a better man today because I had the sense to shut up and learn from the people who have been living in the light while we were huffing the fairy tale. To the white folks who didn't run, to my brown brothers and sisters, and to every soul who ever sent me a word of advice or a hand of support, thank you. I'm thinking of every one of you today. I've lived enough life now at 59 years old to know that tomorrow isn't promised. This ride is short and it's unpredictable. None of us know when our time is up. So, as white folks, we have to ask ourselves, at the end of our days, did we live with integrity or did we live with white narcissism? I'm not going anywhere yet. I'm going to keep looking for the ones who are ready to stop being cockroaches and start being human beings. That's right. 11 years down, the receipts are in. So until my own light goes out, you'd better get used to the glow.
I've been watching this trend lately on social media of people from marginalized groups of people, especially, and some so-called liberal white people, telling racists how expensive racism is. I mean, you can put it in the search engine here, and there are videos after videos after videos talking about how expensive racism is. Like racism hasn't always been expensive for racists. But yachts are expensive, and they still get bought. Private airplanes are expensive, and they still get purchased. $1 million mansions are expensive, and people buy multi-million-dollar mansions in the face of that expense. It just amazes me that people are going to try to use the cornerstone of a capitalist society, wealth and expense, to try to address racism on some level that racists are going to say, you know what? My racism is just so expensive, and I never knew that in 400 years. The thing that gets me in these videos that I have seen on this racism is expensive subject is that you're talking about how expensive it is to racist. Here's the thing. Racism isn't expensive to black people. It is deadly. There is a big difference. Racists have shown us time and time again that they're willing to pay the expense of their racism as long as it either results in us being kept in our place or dead. I wish those people who are talking about racism is expensive, like they're giving racists some kind of tidbit of information they didn't know, would pick up one of my favorite books called Faces at the Bottom of the Well by Derek Bell. Because in this book he says the following: Black people are the magical faces at the bottom of society's well. Even the poorest whites, those who must live their lives on a few levels above, gain their self-esteem by gazing down on us. Now, surely they must know their deliverance depends on letting down their ropes. Only by working together is escape possible. Over time, many reach out, but most simply watch, mesmerized into maintaining their unspoken commitment to keeping us where we are, at whatever cost to them or to us. I can't believe I'm saying this. Newsflash, racism has always been expensive, and racists have always shown you they're willing to pay the price. Since Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, and the first port of call he got to in this so-called New World was to release his men off the ship to have their way with any of the brown women they could find. Racism was expensive when the colonizers first landed on the shores of America and proceeded to use the indigenous people for their survival, and then turned around and tried to massacre all of them. It was expensive when the first slave trader landed on the Ivory Coast of Africa, and it was expensive when they dragged Africans across the Atlantic to this so-called New World in chains. And every step of the way, they were continually showing you they were willing to pay that expense. And no matter how expensive it was for them, it was always deadly for the black and brown people they came in contact with. So spare me your epiphany in 2026 to talk about racism is expensive.
Black people know more about white people than white people know about themselves. As a white South African who grew up during apartheid, the first time I ever heard this phrase, instinctively, I knew it was true. But intellectually, I couldn't have told you why. It took me years of reading and thinking and researching and listening to be able to person has to be acting one way, thinking another way. I believe this originates inside the racist and is then transmitted into the black body. Because a white racist has to be able to believe that I am a good person even though I treat others badly. I am a Christian even though I treat others in an unchristian way. And I bring about peace through violence and war. I still have a long way to go in my journey. The thing about racism, especially when you experience it as a small child, is that it becomes a part of your fabric, and it can take years, decades even, to unpick and unravel it. If you want to join me on my journey, please drop me a follow. I've just had to restart my channel here on TikTok, and I would love to be joined by as many passionate anti-racists as possible. It's only by talking about racism, by taking it apart and understanding it in its entirety, that we can ever have any hope of moving past it.
This is all I got from this video. Some people will never learn their lesson. Not until it is very late, but it is already what it is, right? Racism is expensive. Some people do not understand that. But I am tired of explaining to people how expensive racism is, because no matter how hard, no matter how much you try to explain to them, they will never understand. I am done explaining or lecturing magas on how expensive or how horrible it is to be racist. But no matter how bad it is, we'll continue to live, because some people have decided that they will never stop frustrating others. Because one thing I have noticed about people that are racist is the fact that they are actually ready to frustrate you. And when people frustrate you, I don't let people frustrate me anymore. It's either I am not in this same space with you, or I am out of it. The truth is that black people actually do know these people more than they know themselves. I have said this in several times, and it is really amazing how I was able to learn this from black people. And you know, one thing is that when you learn something and you watch it or you monitor it, you see that there has never been any time or any lie being told by black people when it comes to these people. Black people know them so well that they actually do not understand. They do not know themselves this much, sincerely speaking. And I have also been saying, how come these people have been living with my people for centuries, right? But they do not know black people. I don't know if you understand what I am saying. If you ask them anything about black people, they don't know. The only thing they will tell you is the stereotypes that were created by them. They won't tell you about black people, but the only thing they can tell you is stereotype that they put in their own head, that they also use, they weaponize against my own. They know nothing, not even a single thing. But yeah, this is it. I love the fact that black people can tell them who they are and stand on it. And if you go back and forth, it is what it is. Nothing will change. And that is how powerful it is to know. It is very powerful because it takes a lot for people to study, not really kind of study, to monitor people that they have lived with for centuries and understand them. Because tell me how black people will tell you, like, this year that something like this will happen politically next year. You think they are joking, and next year that thing happens, and it happens the same way they said it, because they can predict them. And that is just crazy, very crazy. Anyways, racism is expensive, and not until everybody learn to understand this, we'll continue to run in circle. Because sometimes when you identify a problem, it means that you are close to solving it. They know it, but how will they solve the problem? They will not solve it, because some of them benefit so much from racism. Some of them, if it is not racism, how would you want them to survive? They cannot survive. I will draw the cut in here. Bye for now.